Ladies and gentlemen, I give up. I'm buying more gold and silver, and I never thought I'd say this, but the reason today is because of the Panama Canal. Yes, I lived in Costa Rica many, many years. I visited the Panama Canal, but I never thought I'd be talking about it on Tech Economy as a reason to buy precious metals. The number of vessels that are passing through the Suez and Panama Canal have dropped by 50%. This is making global news. This has boosted freight costs as vessels have to reroute and take longer journeys. What do you think that leads to? Higher costs. Bottom line is that higher transportation costs are putting upward pressure on goods inflation. Like we needed any more inflation. We got enough reasons going on why everything's way, way overpriced. The number of vessels passing through the Suez Canal and Panama Canal have dipped by 50% from normal levels. This comes from Apollo Management's top economist, someone that I respect a little bit. And that risks triggering another run-up in inflation as the price of shipping becomes more expensive. That's according to Torsten Slok, who's just, Torsten Slok, what an awesome name, right? Like, let's just pause. Torsten Slok, what an awesome name. He quotes, "The bottom line is that higher transportation costs are putting upward pressure on goods inflation." This is from his recent report. And this matters because if inflation begins bubbling again, the outlook for Fed rate cuts could be totally weakened. Here's a few charts you can look at to explain exactly what's going on. Crazy, right? Now, the Suez Canal operates 12% of global trade. It all passes through this canal. And this is according to the US Naval Institute. I would think they have a pulse on this kind of stuff. It's their job. And to quote Torsten again, normally 200 ships travel through the Suez Canal from south to north over a week, but that number has been declining and it's recently at 100. So again, 50%, that's just gross. Like, things just aren't getting through. Trouble in the Suez Canal has been ratcheting up as the Yemen-based Houthi rebels have been launching attacks against ships in the Red Sea. This forces some ships to take longer and obviously costlier detours. Now, this ruckus has bled chaos into the oil markets and even trickled into other commodities, upending coffee trade flows. Whoa, do not mess with my coffee supply. Like, I can only do these videos when I'm high on coffee, so please. What's slowing down the shipping in Panama Canal is a little bit different as well because there's a severe drought in the waterway. And this created a massive, massive snarl up because fewer vessels are now able to actually make it through transit and get through the corridor at this point in time. This canal normally handles about 5% of global trade flows. But because there's a traffic jam mirroring the ones we see on Interstate 95 here in South Florida, only 45 ships per week are coming in, and typically that number's around 90. The waterway is so clogged that authorities have opened up auctions for companies to bid on these options to jump the line. Yes, I read into this, went down a rabbit hole. One Japanese firm paid $4 million to pass the line and get their goods through just in November. So that's pretty crazy. Now, this slowdown has boosted the cost of shipping. The vessels have had to reroute and add several days to their voyages, which of course makes carting around the global goods a lot more expensive, which again gets passed on to us as consumers. Now, even worse, the route from Shanghai to Rotterdam have seen costs triple. Now, another tracker I dug into, the Drewry World Container Index, shows that container costs have surged by 173% since the beginning of December. Guys, that's just over a month ago. And although goods inflation has been tumbling, higher shipping costs could send that back up again if they continue to follow these recent trends. Now, the advertisement strategists at Macquarie have noted that shipping woes are reminiscent of pandemic-era supply shocks. I don't know if you guys, the pandemic-era supply shocks were terrible. Remember toilet paper? Oh my God. This sparked a crazy spell of inflation that we have not seen correct itself yet. And another quote, shipping freight rates foretold the future inflation-disinflation cycle in late 2020 to mid-2022 and are thus worth paying attention to. This is from Thierry Wiseman. He wrote in a note last week, and I do not disagree. We never recovered from inflation in 2020. We are still seeing that high cost of goods still there. Now we've got other factors coming in, and the last thing I thought I'd be talking about is the Panama Canal. Yes. All that commerce coming through the Panama Canal, coming to us, coming to the rest of the world, doing global trade, is now becoming much more expensive because of these woes I just talked about right here. So when you put that in a blender and mix it all up, like, what do you really get? Well, we've got 3 wars we're fighting right now that we're investing in. Investing is a word I use very loosely, of course. And I don't care what side of the political equation you're on, we're spending money in very bad ways. Credit card debt's at an all-time high. Talked about that in a recent video. Please subscribe if you haven't. We cover the economy and tackle every tough subject out there because you're not getting the real news. Everyone paints this hunky-dory picture and points to the S&P and its recent successes, but I'm telling you, it is fool's gold. The only place you should be putting your money right now is gold and silver. And I know I sound like a broken record. You've been like, Tim, Greg, like, dude, that's all you guys talk about is gold and silver. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a harsh, rude awakening. I am not wavering on that point. I keep investing whenever I can in gold and silver. A lot of my retirement portfolios I've talked about many times is in gold. It's the best way to protect yourself. I think all these factors are coming into play and they're all going to be hitting a point where it's going to be a boiling point. It's all going to melt down. Yes, the stock market looks pretty safe right now, but what's at an all-time high? What's eventually going to happen? It can't keep going up. We're in an election year. We got wars, inflation, credit card debt. The rate to borrow money right now is astronomical. Like, I have the means, but I do not want to buy a new house at these rates. Like, it's absolutely crazy. So again, I don't like where we're going right now. And the last thing I thought I'd be talking about is the Panama Canal. Beautiful place to visit. And it's, actually not. It's just a canal. Like, it's like the Grand Canyon. Like, how many times do you really need to see it? Point is, everything's going through there. And because of that, things are becoming more expensive. My chicken wings, your kale salads, whatever you're into, I don't care. Everyone's got their own taste. Mine are chicken wings. It's football season, you guys. Like, come on. So again, things are becoming more expensive, and I did not think the Panama Canal would be at fault for this. What's next? Honestly, what's next? What monkey wrench are we gonna get thrown at us next? I mean, everything's coming in for a perfect storm of just totally coming down. We've got guys like Robert Kiyosaki saying this is gonna be the worst year in the stock market history. We've got other people out there saying the only place to invest is gold, silver, and Bitcoin. I don't know. I've got exposure to all of those, but right now I do not like the way our currency is valued. It's being devalued all the time. People are trying to circumvent it. There's cryptocurrency now. Precious metals is where a lot of my money is at right now. Do what you want, but there's a link below if you're interested in that. You can find out exactly which company I use to invest with my self-directed IRA and hold gold and silver inside of that. You can also get metals for home consumption and storing on your own if you'd like, again, or don't. But these warning signs are all out here. And again, the Panama Canal, I'm not gonna be brought down by the Panama Canal. I'm sorry. I watched Oliver North. I watched the whole thing. I grew up during it. I was confused. I didn't know what was happening, but I'm not going down to the Panama Canal. Protecting myself with precious metals. I sleep better at night. They're having a nice little run right now. They're staying stable when the rest of the world kind of isn't. So again, I'm Tim with Tech Economy. Thank you for watching. And seriously, the Panama Canal,